Great, and then we'll let the online attendees flow in here for a minute or two.
Cheryl,
Just down.
can you please answer your phone for a minute? It's me calling you. Thank you.
Hello.
Who else is expected?
Right.
I was here.
2, 3, 4.
Okay. We'll take care of it. Thank you. Thanks. All right. So Cambridge Housing is trying to log in as painless. And they're not able to do that.
See how easy, much easier it is with no password to deal with.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I like this way much better. Can we get them in? Cambridge Housing Authority?
Yeah, you have to make me a co-host, so you have to click your attendee list over here.
Right here? Participants?
Yeah.
Yeah. Click on
Not the number, yeah, and then go to attendees,
attendees. Yeah.
and then if you see the Cambridge people, you
Natalie Jensen.
yeah, so you just do the dot.
And promote to panel.
Yes, right.
Okay. And then what about you? Do I promote you to?
No, I'm
Oh,
fine. I would stay there.
Alright.
I'm already in. And then is there any other, anybody else besides that?
No.
No.
Okay.
But I mean, we'll ask them for comments. So
Yeah.
we get
Okay.
that part of it there.
Great.
Back of that fan, there's a switch. If you push it, the switch down. it'll give
Turn
us
it on?
that- Yeah, at the higher speed. Push it up and it goes to the low speed.
I think I'm ready whenever you're ready, sir.
All right.
Gets a little closer.
And you make me,
A little close in there.
Yeah.
make you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Like
we'll
that.
stay that way.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to, where I'm at, on panelists,
All right.
and then one of those options there will make me go to others.
Can you see it? Make host. Make host.
Well, I could do that too.
All right, we'll make you the host.
Oh,
All
those. I got a promotion.
I don't have a an option for co-host.
I'm gonna have
So,
to figure that one out.
yeah.
Here. So,
Yeah.
well, I think we have everybody here. The technology has been kind to us this time around.
Yeah.
Compared to previous times here. And, so I'm going to call to order the Needham Housing Authority special board meeting, today. And call the roll. Reg Foster here.
Eleanor Evans here.
And Penny and Ed, you're on mute.
Janice Bennett's here.
Good, all right.
Okay. Ed Scheidler here.
Penny Herc here.
And we have all the commissioners here today, and we are also doing a public hearing today as well as this meeting. So I haven't spoken to the public hearing yet. But I just wanted to announce at the beginning that we're doing this as a hybrid meeting as permitted by chapter 107 of the Act of 2022. Was passed by the general court and signed by Governor Healy on March 29th, 2023.
Please.
Extension.
Yeah.
And that, and also that this, notice of this meeting has been duly posted to the secretary, by the Secretary of the Needham Housing Authority, Ms. Gosman here. At the town clerk's office on August 28th, 2023. It's great.
Okay.
So
You want it up? It's shattering now.
now, Ed and Penny, we can hear you, let's go on and off of,
That's where I'm.
but can you hear us all right with that air conditioner running?
We can turn it on.
Yeah, okay. So, we have,
Oh, sorry, I can hear you fine. I mean, I don't notice the air conditioner noise. If you guys need it on.
So we're gonna Cheryl's gonna turn it off so we get, you know, the best audio that we can here. We
Sounds
have
fine to me.
a collection of things to address here, and I am going to just take the agenda in order, and our first item is to approve the legal counsel, special legal counsel that we are hiring in order to advise us with respect to negotiating a developer partner agreement. As most folks have been following us for a while know, we are a small, middle-sized housing authority. We have made great strides in defining and starting forward with two projects. One to redevelop Linden and Chambers Street development, and the other one to completely update, modernize, and preserve the Seabeds and Cooks properties that we're in right now. This is not something we can accomplish by ourselves. So the normal practice for a housing authority of our size is to look for a development partner to team up with. And there's a specialized many dozens or hundreds of page agreement that needs to be negotiated. It covers all aspects of that relationship, and it's a relationship that will be going for 15 plus years, at least 15 years, with a developer partner. And obviously we need some expertise for that. In the board's packet is a report. We had a selection committee form that we put out a notice and reached out to a number of law firms that do this sort of work and for affordable housing. And the selection committee was made up of Cheryl Gosman, our executive director, our vice chair, Eleanor Evans, who is also an attorney herself, so that's very helpful, and our general counsel, Jonathan Driscoll, and myself. And we wound up getting, hearing back from 4 law firms that were highly qualified in this area. 3 of them actually submitted proposals. We interviewed all 3 of those firms and their personnel last month. We checked out their references. The selection committee then, in its last meeting, recommended that Klein Hornig and attorney Teresa Santa Lucia was far and away the best match, as best we could determine, for what we're trying to do and for the Needham Housing Authority. There is a multi-page report from the selection committee in your packet, and covering that recommendation and detailing the reasons for it. And we're here to review and discuss that as a board. And if the board is satisfied with that recommendation, to authorize Cheryl to go forward and sign an engagement agreement, negotiate, sign an engagement agreement with that firm and with Teresa Santa Lucia. So I'm going to open up the floor to any comments or questions, but first I want to go to Eleanor and Cheryl and see if either one of you who are on the selection committee wanted to add anything more about the process or what we've discovered. I would start by saying that all 3 of them clearly could have done the work we're looking for. So we were very fortunate to have 3 great choices here.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with the level of expertise that we had before us. That's my level of expertise in terms of which attorney is the best. I did like Teresa Santa Lucia. She was more down to earth and more aligned to what we're doing. But Jonathan and Eleanor are the legal experts. As I said, I was extremely impressed by the caliber of people that were before us.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I thought they were all good, but I agreed with the other committee members that Teresa and her firm seemed to be the best suited for us in term, I mean, they hit all of our criteria and as Cheryl mentioned that Teresa seemed both sort of down to earth, but and as Reg mentioned, seemed to be most kind of responsive to our particular needs and proposal and had, I mean, all of them, well, I had done a fair amount of work with other housing authorities, including local ones. So, and if others have questions about the interview process or our evaluation process, just let us know, but the report in the packet sums it up well.
Penny and Ed, do you have any questions or comments? You're on mute there.
My feeling is that we have a search committee for a reason. And I especially trust Eleanor's judgment. So I certainly support the recommendation.
And I support the recommendation too. I thought the description of all of them was very thorough and impressive. And I think, as you said, Reg, if we didn't have a choice, any one of them would be great. The fact that the smaller firm seems to be most responsive is just lucky that they're also not quite as expensive. But so I go along with the results of that report.
And Janice, do you have any thoughts?
Yes. I just want to say, I thought the whole summary and the whole report was very well done. It was very in-depth and you just did a great job on that. And I really honestly want to say, after reading through everything that you sent, Reg, I came to the conclusion that I wanted that particular law firm, because number one, they kind of went with everything that we were looking for, and number two, they were the cheapest. So and like you said, I thought that woman was kind of more down to earth and more adapt to a smaller housing authority. So yeah, I'm in favor of what the select committee has come up with in their selections.
Okay, so I think we're ready for somebody to make a motion. Maybe Eleanor, it would be appropriate if you made the motion since you were part of this process, which is on the last page, by the way, of the report that came from the selection committee. If you have it in front of you.
Sorry, I'm looking at the whole packet, but hang on one second and let me find it. I saw it. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, here we go. So I guess, so may I have a motion to engage Klein Hornig LLP and specifically Teresa Santa Lucia as Needham Housing Authority Special Counsel to advise on and negotiate our agreement with NHA's future development partner or partners, including, and that the NHA executive director or her designee be authorized to enter into an engagement agreement for legal services to advise and represent the authority in negotiations with potential development partners for the Linden Chambers redevelopment project and the Seabeds Cook Preservation Project, the scope of which is further outlined in the RFP dated July 14, 2023.
Second.
We have a second. Was that Janice?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Janice. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the vote using our usual virtual meeting procedure where we just take it in order, the same order every time. Reg Foster votes aye.
Eleanor Evans votes aye.
Ed Scheidler votes aye.
Penny Kirk votes aye.
Janice Bennett votes aye.
And that passes 5-0. Thank you very much. So we move on to the next agenda item, and Natalie, perhaps you could unmute yourself and and turn on your video if you're still there. And I'd like to just introduce Natalie Johnson, who is our project manager, our senior project manager from the Cambridge Housing Authority. She's here because I'm about to open, and I think I will open a public hearing on NHA's 2020 to 2024 PHA plan, which has been modified to reflect the Preservation and Redevelopment Initiative and other things that need to be updated. And there has been a process in place for several months on that. And I'd like to turn the floor over to Cheryl and Natalie to describe the process that we've been through. And then we will take any further comments from the public that is attending, and we have a few, and in the room here, and then also from the commissioners, and then we will close the public hearing. If the commissioners are satisfied with the plan or satisfied with maybe some tweaks that come out of this final review of the PHA plan, then we will move to vote to approve that plan. This plan is important to update because we cannot submit our applications for repositioning our federal properties until the plan has been updated. So that's on the critical path. And in fact, we will be considering that later this afternoon if the plan does get approved. So Cheryl and Natalie, who would like to go first? Cheryl?
Alrighty, I'll go first.
Yep.
All right. So this is a public hearing on the NHA PHA 5-year plan. The draft plan describes the mission of the NHA and the objectives for achieving its mission over the subsequent 5 years. There are two parts to the PHA plan: the 5-year plan, which each PA submits to HUD once every 5th PHA fiscal year, and the annual plan, which is submitted to HUD every year by non-qualified housing authorities. The PHA plan process was established by Section 5A of the United States Act of 1937 and was amended by the 2008 Housing and Economic Recovery Act. Small public housing agent authorities, it was amended by the Economic Recovery Act and the Small Public Housing Authorities Paperwork Reduction Act. This amendment provided an exemption of qualified public housing agencies from the annual plan requirement. The elements and components of the plan include the Needham Housing Authority mission statement, goals and objectives, Needham Housing Authority progress report, the Violation Against Women Act, VAWA policy, significant amendments, comments from the RAB, certifications
Say
by.
what the RAD is, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I will. I do have that aligned. So, but I will say that the RAB board was actually appointed on May, in
I
May.
meant the acronym, Resident
Oh,
Advisory Board.
sorry, guys, a little nervous. So comments from the RAB, which is the Resident Advisory Board, certifications by state and local officials, and a statement of capital needs. So those are the components of the plan. In May 2023, a Resident Advisory Board, RAB, was appointed. RAB members include Janice Bennett, Sue Biazizo, Carol Briggs, and Cindy Sabak. These are individuals who reflect and represent the residents of Needham Housing Authority. The role of the RAB is to assist and make recommendations to the Needham Housing Authority regarding the development of the PHA plan and any significant amendment or modification to the plan. The draft plan was presented to the NHA Board of Commissioners at their June 15th meeting, regular board meeting, which started the 45-day review and comment period. The draft plan is posted on the NHA website. It's posted in the NHA office at 21 Highland Circle and was mailed to all federal Needham Housing public, all federal public housing, and housing choice voucher residents. The Needham Housing Authority Board of Commissioners is holding this hearing. Sorry, guys. They're assembled here to hear public comments. Reactions, comments, and dialogue will only occur if the board feels that a comment is erroneously false, misleading, or otherwise harmful to today's proceedings or the mission of the agency. All comments will be transcribed and included in the final draft of the plan that will be submitted to HUD as required, with applicable responses as it relates to the 5-year plan. We may have folks that have specific questions about things going on in their community or their houses. This is not the forum for those discussions. We are looking for policy comments relating to this document. We have staff listening to the public hearing who can answer these questions. We do ask, if you have an opportunity to make a comment, that you speak clearly, state your name and your development. Please keep in mind that comments are limited to 3 minutes. Now, with the chair's permission, I'd like to open the meeting.
Well, let's see if Natalie has anything to add.
Sorry about that.
And the hearing has been open, by the way. so
Right.
we're in the
I was
hearing.
going to say open the meeting for
Yeah.
public comments.
Yeah, go ahead. Natalie, do you have anything to add from the perspective of how, the bigger picture of why we're doing this update?
Yeah, so thanks, Cheryl and Reg. And by the way, so Margaret Moran is on, but I think she needs to be upgraded to panelist.
I've been looking for her and I don't see her there as an attendee here.
Okay, so now she says she's,
Now
she's
she,
here, perfect. She's there as a panelist,
yes, she needs to turn her camera on here.
right? So I would just say, as Reg mentioned at the start, that this is a requirement as part of submitting the RAD Section 18 application for Seabed's Way and Captain Robert Cook. We can't submit that unless it's described in your 5-year plan. And so in the 5-year plan, there's a section called Goals and Objectives, which I'm sure the board has noticed includes a whole variety of different development related activities that the Needham Housing Authority may consider, both for its federal properties, so that's High Rock Estates, Captain Robert Cook Drive, Seabed's Way, but also for Linden Street and Chambers Street, because there are some opportunities, as we've discussed before, to use some of the federal resources at those 2 state properties. So in writing that section and providing some commentary to the plan that Cheryl and her staff worked on, we made sure to include the whole suite of available options that the Needham Housing Authority may consider over the next 5 years. That would essentially make sure that as you're working on the PRI plan, as you come to different milestones, you don't actually have to go back and update it in the 5-year plan, because HUD is very specific that a lot of different federal items need to be in the 5-year plan in order for the Housing Authority to move forward with them. So I'm happy to take any specific questions related to that section if they come up in the course of the public hearing or afterwards. Thank you.
So I think we will go to taking public comment here, and we'll go to our virtual online attendees first. So anybody has any comments, could you just do your raise your hand thing, and I'll keep an eye out for them here. Also would just like to introduce formally Margaret Moran, also from the Cambridge Housing Authority. She's the principal in charge of the overall engagement with us, and also extremely knowledgeable about how to do these sorts of projects. In fact, helped Needham do the High Rock Homes project and the aughts between 2005 and 2009 here. So Ross, I see you have your hand up. Ross Donald first. We should be able to hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. There were, first of all, my name is Ross Donald. I'm
Yeah,
out at Chambers Street. Okay, I did have a question about the 5-year plan on the forms. It's listed as 2020 to 2024 for those 5 years. And I guess my question is, do the 5-year plans get updated, reviewed, modified every year? And what happens next year? Is this would that be the last year of the old 5-year plan? And what happens in 2025? Is there an initiation of a new 5-year plan? It sounds like, from what I'm gathering, is that you'd like to have everything as a 5-year plan and not revisit or rewrite the plan, if at all, if you can get away with that. But it also sounds like, especially with this year, that you can jump in and modify it, adjust it, depending upon the changing circumstances. So can we stop there, and can I get a clarification on that, or do you want to?
Why don't you, we'll get a clarification, but why don't you go ahead and use
Okay.
the rest of the time for any other questions you might have here?
Yes, certainly. Okay, I guess my main concern is the limited and or no participation by the residents of Linden Chambers and High Rock. We haven't received any of the public notices that are included in the package to publicize the Residents Advisory Board at Seabeds Captain Cook. That information has not been posted or made available to Linden Chambers, High Rock. There is a line on page 23 of the package. It's question C4 in the application form, and it asks, did the public challenge any element of the plan? And we haven't heard the plan. It hasn't been advertised here, so it'd be hard to raise a challenge, but a lot of the elements of what goes into the plan have been challenged. So by the residents and the neighborhood, in fact. And part of that, the reason for that is that there's no tenant organization at Linden Chambers, despite the promises of the aspirations, the goals and objectives include starting up a tenant organization. That's been 3 years. It hasn't happened. We're trying to do something now. There should be a residents advisory board, for instance, for all the activities that have been. There have been some presentations to residents, but there's been no resident advisory board. And let's see.
Your 3 minutes is just about up here, so.
Yeah, I'd like to object to that. I mean, this is a public hearing. It's a very important matter. And 3 minutes is a little bit limited, and also there have been several occasions where people have not been able to access the meetings time after time, but I will try and be quick about it.
Make sure you do get all your questions out. I think that is important, so go ahead.
No, I'm not going to be able to get all my questions out, but I'll let's see. And I wonder what there are lists of actual construction proposed. We've seen these things before in the capital improvement plans and the 2020 capital improvement annual report. And I understand there's a state and there's a federal and so forth, but that included specifically windows for Chambers Street. That was never done. What do we do about something like that? If you have a capital improvement plan, you take a commentary, there are a list of things that are done, and then there's no follow through. Is there any kind of what I'll be looking for in the future is a way to follow up on these issues.
Ross?
Okay, that's my 3 minutes then.
No,
that's the problem I have. What good does it do to have this sort of hearing if there's a plan and then you just ignore the plan?
Ross, I just, as chair, you have to focus on, I have to keep you focused on the plan, which is for the federal properties. This does not cover the state properties at all. So.
Well, this document includes, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Let me just say, if I may.
No, mate, I'm not quite finished. I please keep your comments focused on this plan and the federal properties. Otherwise, I'm going to have to say that your time has ended because you're already over time and you're talking about other issues that aren't for us here today. So
Well,
please bring those.
you've included Lyndon Chambers as one of the tasks.
Okay,
So-
Ross,
all right.
let me just say something, Ross.
Yeah.
There's a new plan because they're gonna be redeveloped, totally redeveloped. So why would you put new windows in when you're gonna knock the whole development down? So there's your answer.
So Ross, we'll get
Well,
to you.
that's outrageous. That's really unacceptable that the property should continue to degrade year after year while we try to get a plan that's workable, you know.
We come to our next Linden Chambers
Yeah.
redevelopment project meeting that's going to be held in the next few weeks here. It hasn't been scheduled, but that's where you will have the time to focus on these issues here. So I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anybody else that has any comments online here. We have some other people there. Is there, okay, I don't see any hands up, but if you change your mind, please put your hand up if you haven't been able to speak. Anybody here in the room have any comments that you'd like to make? Yes, go ahead.
I have a comment and a question.
But wait, before I do, I'm sorry, I forgot, we promised that we would answer Ross's
That's right.
questions, so
Yes.
either you, Cheryl, or Natalie, the questions I wrote down is, why is it the 2000 to 2024 plan? Does it get modified every year? Is there another 5-year plan starting in 2025, et cetera? That's
So
the
that
first question.
2020 plan was started at the beginning of COVID with the previous administration,
Mhm,
executive director and her staff.
mhm,
It was never submitted to her.
mhm.
So we have to start the clock at that previous 5-year plan,
Right.
2020 to 2024. And then we will start again for the next 5-year plan in the fall.
And if I remember, it was suspended, part of the COVID suspension thing, but it
Yeah.
didn't cover the PRA the way it needed to be covered anyway.
Exactly,
It would have had to
exactly.
been modified
Exactly.
anyway, because
Yeah.
at that time,
That would have been a
we
significant.
hadn't even begun
Yeah.
with the Cambridge Housing Authority,
Yeah.
so. Okay,
So that
so there will
answers
be
that.
another 5-year plan,
That's right.
effort, but this covers us through the end of
That first plan,
2024.
that's correct. And then also in terms of participants, there was a public meeting by the RAB board on August 2nd.
Mhm.
And there were about, you came to that meeting, there were about 10 folks in the room.
I think the question was, why were there no invitation or participation by Linden and Chambers Street residents?
Well, you answered that question by noting that this is a 5-year plan for our public properties.
Mhm.
So we sent this out only to our federal public housing residents. Captain Robert Cook Drive, Seabeds Way, High Rock Estates, and our housing choice voucher participants.
Mhm.
So the federal gamut got a copy of the plan.
And then the last question you might not know, but maybe Natalie knows if you're there, Natalie, which is, in the final draft of the plan we have here, why isn't there a specific list of construction or modernization that's been proposed?
For the federal program,
For the photo program.
we do have that in the plan. There was a significant amendment to the 2020 capital fund
Mhm.
program, and we have that in the plan. The board voted on that
Mhm.
at their meeting. I think it was early spring,
Mhm.
but that will get submitted as well. There's a checklist that I will have to do to put together a table of contents, and I have to get Kate Fitzpatrick to sign off on the consolidated plan.
Mhm.
I have to add civil rights information to the plan. And then there is a small little blurb that I need to add about fair housing.
Mhm.
But for the most part, the meat and potatoes of the plan is completed.
I think another answer is there aren't going to be specifics in the plan because we're about to start developing the specifics. We just hired our A&E designer firm last month,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be kicking off sometime in September when we can find the date, and they'll be sending the next few months, coming up with the specifics of all the things we're gonna be fixing and updating and modernizing and doing, so.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies, I forgot to do that. Now, go ahead, the floor is yours here.
Thank you. As a sidebar, not including my 3 minutes, she was talking very softly, so I just want to ask you a question,
Sorry.
Carol.
Apologize.
Did you say that High Rock was a state?
High Rock, it states, I apologize
No,
that my
High Rock
voice
is
was so.
South Rock.
So no, it's High Rock, it states, we have High Rock Homes and we have High Rock Estates. And that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
I
Thank you very much.
apologize. Sorry about that.
My name is Rachel. I live here at Seabed.
You're gonna have to do your last name, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
My last name is Kremlis.
Okay, thank you.
My comment is exactly what I said when I first came in, but it wasn't being recorded. Is that I feel like we are never given the timeframe prior to notice. Give us enough time to read the information, set up our time schedule. It's always last minute. So I wanted to put that on the record. Thank you, Reg. My question comment is regarding the agency you just acknowledged that we're gonna get it.
Do the design,
Yeah, we got it.
yeah, B, H, and A is what they're known
B,
as.
E, and A. What?
B, H, Brown, H, Harry, plus A is their initials,
BHA.
yeah. It
And that's
stands for
the
Bardman, Hendrick, and Architek.
Okay. You know, if, hopefully that's all written down somewhere.
It is,
In
yes.
that packet, okay. All these, design and development, people you've hired. Yes, the majority of time, the person who has the lowest bid gets it. That doesn't mean the whole project is gonna be the cheapest in the end. There's always overrides or overruns, whatever you wanna call them, the things that happen that, you know, new things found out, blah, blah, blah. So my question is, how is that going to work? Is that going to, and my major concern is that, will all those adjustments, for lack of a better word, overruns, end up being the cheapest possible, or are you going to go to a place where you're thinking long term, that if you spend the money to do it well and to buy, you know, staircases or whatever, you know, stoves or whatever, you know, trim or whatever, is that gonna last for the length of time that you guys have already had in your 10-20 year plan, whatever, you know, that it'll stay good until, because I think one of the main reasons why this is being done, or maybe not, but, you know, I just moved in here recently and it seems that everything is falling apart. You know, one of the guys fixed something in my apartment, thinking that it would fix it, and it went right back to the way it was. And of course, I don't call it because, you know, why?
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
and
I
that's a
think-
whole nother ball of wax. But my main thing is financially, how are you going to take it to make this property a good, you know, because you're not tearing it all down, right? You're just doing fix-ups. Thank you
So,
for-
thank you for those questions and welcome to our community. And as you get caught up with what's going on, I mean, first of all, again, hopefully we'll do a better job if you somehow been missed in some of the meetings and weren't able to attend them and so forth. We'll do a better job. There's always room to improve.
Well,
But
just to interject, I've lived in housing since the mid-90s.
So you know your way around this.
Well,
So, I'll take a crack at answering a couple of your questions, which is, firstly, A&E Designer Services firm, BH&A, that we've hired is a top firm in the city. They're not the cheapest firm at all. In fact, the selection committee doesn't even look at the price when they're evaluating the proposal. They look at who has made the best proposal that is going to do the best job. And secondly, when you dig into some of the materials you may have not a chance to look at, you'll see that the board and the staff and the Cambridge Housing Authority, we have a 40-year view. The reason why things are kind of run down here is these units were built in 1980, 81 or so, or they're about 40 years old right now. And we haven't had enough investment to update things and improve things as we go along. And we found a way to get that money. It's tens of millions of dollars. And the goal is to extend the useful lifetime of these units another 40 plus years at a minimum, so that, you know, beyond all of us that are here today, these units will still be here in Needham, providing deeply affordable housing for people who really need it. So all of us, I don't believe any of us believe in taking shortcuts. We won't have to sort of put band-aids on things. That's what's been happening already for the last 40 years. And we hope that, you know, it'll be a total modernization that preserves these units for 40 plus years here.
Unless Congress does something.
I think we have a good view of the funding at this point, and thanks to the help we've gotten from our development consultant at Cambridge Housing Authority, you know, we're on a very good track to get the funding that we need.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it for now. Thank you, Ben.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Comments? Are there any more? Yeah, we have Kalpana. Cal got her hands raised, and Kalpana, we should be able to hear you now. You're on mute though.
Good afternoon, everybody.
We can hear you. Please give us your name and location for the record for the minutes here.
Sure. My name is Kalpana Shah. I'm at Linden Street. I
Okay.
think I heard that state 5-year plan is afterwards, not today.
Yes, it's not today. We're not doing the state plan today.
Is it still the policy to 45 days before the plan has to be posted at public or residents accessible?
Yes, and that plan is in the Linden Chambers community room presently.
As well as there should be the hard copy.
That's correct.
And on a request, the hard copy will be given to the residents to review.
I can certainly send you a hard copy of the state annual plan. We'll do that. But it has been in the Linden Chambers community room for about a month and a half, and it's also on the
Understable.
Yes.
That is the requirement.
Yes.
But my point is that the residents will get the copy to review 45 days ahead of time.
They have not been mailed a copy of the plan, and that has not been our practice to do so. But
that is not the practice. Practice is to make a copies and then keep it in a community room for residents to pick up and then review before the 45 days of the hearing.
That's
so,
correct.
Yeah. So I expect to get before the 45 days.
It's there now, Kalpana.
So Kalpana, did you hear Cheryl when she said she's going to send you or give you a physical copy? And also, I just have to remind you, this is I'm asking you, recognizing you, to see if you have any comments on the federal 5-year Yeah, 2024.
Yeah, what about the bungalows which are at Uric Road or the small 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom houses? Are they considered on a Section 8 or are they considered as a federal?
You're asking about the High Rock Estates bungalow.
No, I'm not talking about the High Rock Estate. I'm talking about the small, I don't know what you are name it, but it is a small houses, which are the very old, which has not been converted into the high rock homes or torn down, but people are still there, the 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms, and they are considered as a federal.
Yes,
They are not considered as a state.
Alpana, yes, you're right. It's called High Rock Estates is the name of the development. It's the old bungalow, the World War II housing that was built in 1950.
Near the chamber, the 2 bedroom home is a High Rock Homes.
Yes, it's not High Rock Homes, it's High Rock Estates. It's very confusing, but it's got a very close, similar name, but a different name. So your
Do they notify for this hearing?
So can I answer your question?
Does those people have been notified for this hearing?
Yes, I believe
Yes,
so.
Kalpana, they received a packet of the draft plan as well.
Do you have any comments on the
I have not read, I have not got anything, so how am I going to comment? And relevant to me is the state. So
No.
once I will receive the state, I just wanted to confirm, because recently I'm not receiving anything at the community room posted or at the Linden Street notice board. And reason that was my concern.
Great, we got that
That's
notification.
it. And moreover, this is just a suggestion.
Yeah, we got
Just a suggestion. When you are host and it is relevant to executive director, I expect no other commissioners to answer any questions of the resident or comments. Thank you very much, and thank you for the recognizing me.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Is there anybody else who has any comments? I'm looking, I don't see any other hands up. And I think there's nobody here. So I'm going to now turn to the commissioners. And I will just call on the individual commissioners for any comments or input, final input for this plan. Just do it in our usual order. Eleanor, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, great. Penny and Ed, do you have anything? And you're on mute, so you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
No,
again.
I don't have any further comments.
And Ed, you have nothing?
Satisfied with it as is.
Great, okay. And last, but most importantly, Janice is our tenant commissioner. Any comments or thoughts?
Yeah, I have a a short comment. You know, it's sad that the residents are not fully informed, or that they may choose not to pay attention until it comes time for these type of meetings that come up when they want to present their gripes. I'll just put it in that terms. But you know, it's up to the residents to keep themselves informed, because the information is out there, and this is I'm putting this comment out to the residents. So if you want to be informed, you have to pay attention, because it's out there.
Okay, well, thanks, Janice. And any comment, your plan looks good to you. Is that what you're saying too?
Oh, yes, most
Good.
definitely. We've put, excuse me, a lot of work in here. The residents don't know that, but the commission has put a lot of work into this,
Well,
especially with the committees.
yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
Thank you, Janice, for Commissioner Bennett. Yes, the RAB board met at least 7 times, and the RAB board enthusiastically participated in the process. And I'm most grateful for that. And we have sent out notices to everyone. We sent out the entire plan, 5-year plan, to all our federal residents along with an agenda. So, we've done a lot of work, as Commissioner Bennett said, and the RAB board showed up each and every time we convened a meeting. So I'm really grateful for their thoughts and their opinions on the work that we did.
Great. So I'm going to close this public hearing at 3 or 4 minutes of 4 o'clock here. And before we go to a vote on approving the plan, I just want to make a comment for everybody's benefit. Having been through this process before in the town I lived at before I was in Needham, having tenants feeling like, residents feeling like they don't know what's going on, or they didn't hear about things at the last minute or so forth, that's normal. No matter how many times you send out notices or put things in the bulletin board or post things. And part of the reason is that one part of it is nobody really believes that anything is going to actually happen. So why should I waste my time? And everybody has very busy lives. There's a lot of balls in the air that everybody has. So I would, encourage everybody to just, be patient, because the closer we get to this being really real, what I found, and where I was living before, is that the meetings started to fill up, and it wasn't just the regulars at the RAD board, and it wasn't just having trouble at Linden Chambers getting a resident advisory board up and running. All of a sudden it switches around the other way around, and people are extremely interested in what's going on, because it's it's real. And so we just need to be patient, in my opinion. So okay, I'm going to ask.
Actually, could I just ask one question?
Yeah.
So I see, on the it's on page 24 in the packet with the list of activities and the cost of each. And so I see that energy audit is mentioned, which I think is great, but I'm just interested to know whether I know that like some community action agencies and others do energy and weatherization for housing authorities. And so I'm just curious, is that something that's been done at our properties, and would an energy audit be part of the scope of something that they would do at no cost for a housing authority?
Yes, I do believe, and Nada, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we did have an energy audit, housing authority wide, but HUD also requires very detailed reports on our energy measures. It's the Epic Center, and it's energy, blah, blah, blah. So we have to actually report on that quite frequently, on ways that we are engaging our programs in energy saving measures. But Nada can comment more on what the Housing Authority has done in the past.
We do that audit, the energy saving, and just recently we just got some people coming in, putting in new light bulbs over at Linden and Chambers. I believe that's happening like next week, but it's required of us to do it at least once a year. And they go through and they tell us what we need, and they offer us free things like light bulbs or weather stripping, things like that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I would also add that reviewing the energy footprint of all the seabeds and cook units, the buildings, and improving them as much as possible with old construction, with retrofitting installation is part of the scope of services, and improving the HVAC systems and getting rid of the through the sleeve air conditioners will be going. want to say that again. There'll be full air conditioning, in each unit. So,
Can I piggyback on Eleanor's question?
here, please.
Okay, well, now that CRCD has new roofs, what is there any chance that we get solar panels?
So that's in part of the scope to be looked at. So save that question for when our kickoff meeting with, the resident kickoff meeting with BH&A. And the answer is, I think that would be a good idea. From my personal point of view, we got lower roofs all pointed in the right direction here. So real potential there.
Yeah, like why not just go all the way, with the savings for the residents?
In the scope of what they're going to be looking at here. So
Thank you.
let's, public hearing is closed. We have our input. We move now to the next agenda item, which is to.
We have to vote on the thing.
Oh, yeah, we have to vote on the plan. Thank you, right. Almost got that right, but we had some more comments. So, do I hear a motion to approve the 5-year modification to the 2024 5-year PHA plan, including the comments we received today from?
I'll make that motion that we approve the 5-year plan.
Thank you, Janice. Do I hear a second from Penny Kirk? Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Reg Foster votes yes.
Eleanor Evans votes yes.
Ed Scheidler votes yes.
Penny Kirk votes aye.
Janice Bennett votes yes.
Okay, we have that approved 5-0 here. Okay, our next agenda item here is the review and approval a motion to and a report we received in a motion to authorize the Cambridge Housing Authority and the executive director and the chair, if he has to sign things as well, to submit our federal repositioning applications that we've been working on for the last couple of years, doing the analysis. Now, just to see this up, there's a paper in your board packet from the Cambridge Housing Authority that spells everything out. We've been doing a number, I think we're up to 6 training sessions on this in the last couple of years to understand what we're getting ourselves into. The bottom line, I think, is on the page. It's on page 47 or 40 something on the packet here, 47, I think. But basically, by approving this, we're going to bottom line, we're going to bring in an additional $1.4 million a year of subsidy by repositioning our a subsidy from the Section 9 program to the Section 8 program. And that's going to create a revenue stream that enables us to borrow the money and bring in the low income tax credits and do other things that will create the tens of millions of dollars worth of capital that we need to do the renovations and modernization and preservation here. And it also has the benefit, part of that $1.4 million a year is that it frees up about $500,000 a year of federal subsidy that is no longer needed under the Section 9 program and can be repurposed to help make the Linden and Chambers Street redevelopment project happen. And money is scarce over there, so that's a really huge benefit for us. So I am going to open up the floor to commissioners' questions and comments. Without calling on it, does anybody wish to go first?
I will.
Go ahead, Janice.
I just think it's a great thing that the Fed actual extra funds could help out the state over at Linden. I don't have any questions on it. I just think it's a great thing for us to do, seeing as how we don't really have to, but I think it's a good thing. Just a comment.
Yeah, it's a financial re-engineering. to achieve goals in deeply affordable housing that have been long overdue to reach here, and we have them within our grasp. So, Janice, thank you, and Eleanor or Penny or Ed, do you have anything to say?
I would say ditto to Janice's remark.
I mean,
Well,
okay.
Go ahead, Eleanor.
I was just gonna say that, I mean, I think this moving forward with this application is furthering, moving us along in the process that we already approved earlier in the year. And so I am in favor of it, for it unlocking additional funds for use at both federal and state properties.
Okay, thank you. And Cheryl, how about yourself? Speaking for you, yourself and the staff here.
Yes, I just want to give a big kudos to Chairman Foster for leading the charge in this effort. I moved here in 1993, and so it was probably about 13 years old. Captain Robert Cook Drive and Seabed's Way definitely needs a makeover, a do-over, if you will. And I'm just excited that we are closer to that step. Cambridge Housing Authority has done a tremendous amount of work getting us here. We had that board retreat in February, and that really sort of broke the ground or the ice or something in terms of moving us forward. So I'm really, really excited that the properties will get updated, upgraded, modernized, better heating, better electricity, better paving, better windows and entryways.
Fire and safety.
Healthy. I mean, it's just a tremendous lift. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's, I appreciate you saying that. It's been taking a little while to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say that Cheryl has stolen my thunder. I agree with everything she just said. Thank you, Cheryl.
Any further comments?
No.
I think I will do chairman prerogative and read this motion myself here. By the way, the wording of this motion needs to be worded just so, because it has to be in the application, the minutes and so forth on. So I make a motion that the Board of Commissioners of the Needham Housing Authority certifies its approval for the NHA Executive Director to submit an application to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, known as HUD, to convert all 76 federally assisted public housing units at Seabed's Way, which has 46 elderly disabled units, and Captain Robert Cook Drive, which has 30 family units, to project-based voucher housing utilizing HUD's Rental Assistance Demonstration Program. Rental Assistance Demonstration / Section 18 Blend Program. Pursuant to the memorandum from the Cambridge Housing Authority to the Needham Housing Authority, the one that's in your packet, dated August 28th, 2023. Under the proposed RAD Section 18 Blend, 20% or 16 units at 16 Seabed's Way and Captain Robert Cook Drive would be converted to RAD Section 8 vouchers, while the remaining 8% of the units, which is 60 units, would be converted to Section 8 TPVs, which stands for Tenant Protection Vouchers.
Question?
Yes, I need a second before we do questions here. Who would like to second the motion?
I'll second.
Penny seconds it. Okay, great. Yes, question?
Yeah, I have a question about the Captain Robert Cook 30 family units. There are, I don't know how many, but there are handicap units for families with handicapped members. And I'm hoping that during the conversion, that those units will be recognized as so.
Yes, so in the scope of services for BH&A, there's a, speaks specifically to handicap units in two ways. There's a minimum, preserving and making them more accessible, the ones that we have. There's in our existing property conditions reports, our 100-page report on each one of the properties, it identifies areas that are kind of not sort of weak areas today. Remember, we didn't even have the MAB, or we didn't have the ADA in 1980, I believe, when the buildings were originally constructed. And the other thing they look at is how do you make upgrades such that if you had to convert a regular unit over to a handicap accessible unit, that it isn't a gigantic cost to do that. It actually is built to standards that that makes that relatively easy to do if you need to in the future. So,
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I'm talking about, Rich. Like some of them of the ones that I don't know which, I know mine is. I came in on the handicap. They're wheelchair accessible, basically. And with bigger entry doors and so on and so forth. I want that to stay in place. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you're with us here. Do you want to add to the anything to the Janice's question?
Yeah, I mean, I would just add that as part of the renovation, we'll have to make sure to meet all MAB ADA standards. So that's a big part of what the architectural team will do, is to take a look at the units, make sure that if there are any violations there, that it gets fixed. But there's minimum, I believe it's a 5% requirement for accessible units. And as Raj mentioned, a lot of these units were built before the time of these regulations. So if anything, accessibility will be greatly improved at Captain Robert Cook Drive and at Seabed's Way because of this.
And also, could the housing authority identify those units down at Captain Robert Cook? I know of only two, mine and number 55. I don't know of any others, but I just want to make sure that the housing authority identifies those particular units and maintain them as such.
Maybe Cheryl or Nita can get back to you after the meeting here.
Yeah, I can say that the 33 and 42 definitely are
Mhm.
handicap units, but if you want a specific account, I can do that to you.
Well, no, you don't have to get it to me. I just want to know that they're going to be maintained units as such as they are now, to have that opportunity for, residents in that capacity.
Yes, they will be maintained and hopefully more improved over what we have today.
Great. Thank you.
One of the things we have to do is bring everything up to current code when you do a big project like this. So that's just one of many things that we're going to have to make sure we get improved.
Yeah, but they should be identified with the contractors, if you will. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from anybody? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. I'm going to call the roll. Reg Foster votes aye.
Eleanor Evans votes aye.
Ed Scheidler votes aye.
Penny Kirk votes aye. You're muted, Janice.
Thank you, Penny. Janice Bennett votes aye.
And that passes unanimously. This is great. This is a wonderful thing.
Moving right on. What?
So we will move on since we don't want to be here all afternoon and the air conditioning is still off in this room here. I'm going to turn the floor over to Cheryl. We have a contract in the packet from EV Mechanical Plumbing. What's that all about?
So per procurement policy, the NHA procurement policy, the board has to approve me to sign contracts over $10,000. This contract from EV Mechanical is the plumbing work at 42 Captain Robert Cook Drive. The scope of the work was included in your packet in terms of the amount of work that is required to put the plumbing line back online. The total project cost is $10,500. EV Mechanical comes to me highly recommended. They have also responded to my request for quotation and submitted quotes for plumbing services for us. So that's that contract, EV Mechanical. It's in your packet. They did sign the contract, or I signed the contract, and Errol, the owner of the company, signed the contract. And he started the work. It's not completed. He did go in and jack the floor and remove the cement that was on the piping and put in a camera to look at to see if there were any clogging in that system. He has that on a USB drive so that our maintenance staff or anyone that would need it has it. He's waiting for the carpenter to go in and do some work, build up the wall for the laundry room services, and then he will come back and finish up that project. So his plumbing project is in your packet. It's in the amount of $10,500, and if you would approve me to continue to engage in these services, that would be
Over there.
Any questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve this contract?
Second.
All right, I will make the motion to approve the contract. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Reg Foster votes aye.
Eleanor Evans votes aye.
Ed Scheidler votes aye.
Kenny Kirk votes aye.
Janice Bennett votes aye.
Great, so we'll move to the next agenda item, contract to Conway Construction LLC
yes.
to complete carpentry work at 42.
Captain Robert Cook Drive. So this is Conley Construction Contract. As you can see, his services total 23,000, and he has listed the work that will be done in his estimate of costs. He has started some work from us on a separate contract, the Seabeds Way Community Room. He's a young man, and he does his work very quickly and very thoroughly. He has also included a quote for his services from us, and I have secured 2 other quotes as well that will go along with this per our procurement policy. So he's ready to go. He will start this week, and I can only imagine that he will move very quickly. I'm envisioning that this project will be completed by October. Well, maybe not. Nada disagrees with me. We still have to order some kitchen cabinets and countertops as well to get that unit up and running. But I'm very optimistic that it will happen very soon, and we have a family that will get in there right away.
Yep, that's it's a 4-bedroom unit, which is relatively scarce in the affordable housing world, in the area that we live. Any questions from the commissioners? None. So can I have a motion to approve
Conley
execution of the contract with Conley Construction Company that's in your board packet?
So moved.
Eleanor moves it.
Second.
From Janice. Any final discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Reg Foster votes aye.
Eleanor Evans votes aye.
Ed Scheidler votes aye.
Kenny Kirk votes aye.
Janice Bennett votes aye.
And that passes unanimously. And we're on our last agenda item, which is review and approval of a contract award to Allen and Major Associates Incorporated for paving at Seabed Way and Captain Robert Cook.
Yeah,
Cheryl,
so you,
paving.
so you received the schematic design in your packet, the very small print. I think you have a mic or.
I did drop off larger copies at everybody's home earlier today, and I can put it up on the screen if you would like it.
Oh,
Screen share.
I don't know.
No, well,
Yeah.
go ahead and just
Okay.
tell me if you.
So I met with Katie, the civil engineer from Allen and Major. And we walked the site and we were here up at Seabed's Way. And we pointed out some areas that are really a health and safety issue. In terms of the roadway, the asphalt, the curbing. Katie also walked with me to Captain Robert Cook Drive. And we earmarked actually the roadway, not necessarily the driveways, but the roadway on the road coming into Captain Robert Cook Drive, the roadway at 42, going into 42, and at the bottom of 56 as being major concerns. I spoke with Greg Gillis, our our maintenance foreman, and he is concerned that we move forward now with this project because the winter is going to be pretty rough. And so this project may not get started until the spring. With comments from you this afternoon, I will give that information to Katie, and she will make adjustments that we deem necessary and begin to put together construction documents that will be posted online, and we'll start to solicit bids for the job. The job is presently priced at $485,105. And I think that, that's a lot for, in my opinion, a small amount of work. But the work, particularly here at Seabed's Way, needs to get done now. And in this case, it won't get done until the spring because I'm imagining that most construction and paving work is winding down now for the fall. They're not going to start in October, November on a paving project. So it will most likely start in the spring, and it's best that we move forward with this work.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead,
Sure.
Chance.
Cheryl, I know you've walked the property. I know you see the condition of the parking lot which I live in.
Yes.
And I thank Gary for finally getting that water problem that we had for 4 years in the parking lot. I don't know if there was a broken pipe underneath, but they did drill and they did do something to the whole block from 46 to 56. They actually dug out a moat and they filled it in with some rocks, and they dug from the hydrant at 56 all the way over to the sewer, which is at the end of the parking lot. And while they did a very good job of getting rid of the water, they left an unbelievable, they did not clean up. They did not clean up any of the asphalt left over. I mean, the parking lot and the curb is full of rocks and gravel. I mean, it's just so hard to walk on. If they can get some of that debris cleaned up, I'll be happy with that. But just stepping off, that 8-inch sidewalk for me onto even a little rock, and I'm gonna go flying. I basically don't even use the back door anymore because I'm afraid of that happening. It's really become and it's not just me. It's it's other residents, but yeah, I'd like some of that debris cleaned up. And not just, you know, with a blower where they blow it around and it's all on my car and, you know, I would like a decent cleanup done in the parking lot. I'm just saying, you know.
Great. Do you have any comments on Cheryl and Greg's recommendation on going forward with this $400,000 contract that get, you know, long overdue? I think we all know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, it's about time.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is that a motion?
I'll take it.
I'll second.
In favor here. Well, all right. So we have a motion and a second from who?
Penny.
Penny.
Penny. Okay, good. Let's finish our discussion. Penny and Ed or Eleanor, do you have any further comments or questions about Cheryl's recommendation?
We're gonna be having a vote, Ed.
Yeah, I don't care.
I just want to say that, reiterate a little, I am in a handicapped unit and I don't deserve that crap in the parking lot.
Yeah, no, we got that one down. I'm just asking about the motion we're about to make and approve here. I hear none. I do have one comment myself. I just want to say, which is that I hope that our contractor, Alan and Major Associates and yourself and our new BH&A team will stay in touch with each other as we start figuring out how to do the gut renovation and modernization of all these units.
Right.
And if there are any adjustments that need to be
Yeah.
made to make sure that we're not doing $400,000 of work in the spring that's just going to get torn up for a new sewer pipe to put in at the end of the year. You know, you don't have to, it just to be, you know, to work smart,
Right.
have everybody work smart. But otherwise, as we know, I totally support this. It's taken a long time to pull together the money to do this, to figure out what to do. The condition is something that none of us are proud of at all, and we clearly have to do something. It's a safety thing, and I'm so glad we finally got to this point here. It's taken a lot of work.
Yeah, and our project won't begin until 2025, 26.
Well, whenever, I'm just
Whenever.
saying, you know.
So, you know, this
Coordinate, yeah.
project would begin in the spring of
Right.
2024. And so it will provide a great deal of relief, particularly here at Seabed's Way.
Oh, absolutely.
And the potholes and the big giant.
Yeah.
So our maintenance director just envisions that, maintenance foreman, if we have a bad winter, it's going to require a lot of cleanup.
Right.
So it's just going to be a big mess.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of work to get to this point. So that's my comment. And if there are no further comments, I'll call the roll for a vote. Hearing none, Reg Foster votes aye.
Eleanor Evans votes aye.
Ed Scheidler votes aye.
Penny Kirk votes aye.
We can't hear you, but I think I saw you say, hell yes, so.
Oh, Janice Bennett votes aye. Sorry.
Great. This is wonderful. So, it's, you know,
Yes.
great that we got this thing done. I think we're at the end of our agenda. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn from anybody?
Make a motion to adjourn.
And do I hear a second? And like all of our virtual motions, we have to do one final roll call. Reg Foster votes aye.
Eleanor Evans votes aye.
Ed Scheidler votes aye.
Penny Kirk votes aye.
Janice Bennett votes aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Great meeting. Got a lot of work done here today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Great day.
Feel better.